All right. So let's do a bit of a cleanup, as far as that is necessary. Well, it is a bit necessary. I'll take a finer brush. I like this ballpoint pen kind of brush. Yeah, okay. Again, maybe come in and do some fairly strong erasing. And you might say, Mark, why not work on a separate layer, a cleanup layer, so to say, just because, okay? No, I found that just working on the layer directly somehow keeps the process more quick and yields a little bit more interesting, lively result. So that's what I'll stick with. Somehow having the layer underneath as part of the cleanup phase really enables me to be quite loose and carefree with the strokes that I'm placing now. And that's just something that I can't seem to get myself to when I'm just working on a new layer. And yes, that's completely my shortcoming, not that of the software or whatever. But you don't have to use the tool as you think it should or can be used. You can of course use the tool for whatever you like, and so I like to come in with a fairly sketchy stroke, not too clean, and if that means that I keep the layer underneath, or that I work on the initial sketch layer, then that's fine. There's not one way to do a cleanup drawing or sketch. And there's not one way to say this is going to be good enough for illustration or print. I could always, of course, come in with yet another pass, cleaning it up, but this is probably going to be good enough for well, what I want to get out of it. So a little bit of loose suggestion of the hand. and a little bit of refinement here for what's happening with this part of the clothes. And there we go. Okay, let's not linger or dilly-dally too much. Well, I think much of the jeans is already fine. One thing I'm trying to do, by the way, which I didn't talk about yet, with these wrinkles, I'm trying to establish a sense of chaos and randomness. So I don't want to make all the crease lines equal in length. I don't want to space them all equally. I want there to be variety. And this is so important when it comes to hair, clothes, that kind of do their own thing. There will be this random factor in it. And if you start doing all kinds of equal spacings between crease lines and etc., well, that's just not gonna work. The viewer will notice this kind of artificiality, and that is very, let's say, incongruent with what we know of fabric or hair or anything of that nature. Foliage, water waves as well. If it's all completely regular, then we know something is amiss. So that's something to keep in mind. You would definitely want to, very artificially though, kind of make it look not artificial, right? You want to take care to make it look like you didn't take care. A controlled kind of randomness or chaos, well, that's of course a very contradictory concept or proposition, which is maybe why not everybody finds it easy. A little bit more zigzag lines here. Okay, I think this is good enough. At least I hope it is. I'm not zooming in too much. For the head maybe a bit, but still trying to refrain from too much of a zoom, and I'm trying to not work too stifled for the face and the facial features. Not liking the mouth, it's curved up a bit more. She's showing a little content smile ever so slightly. have the neck muscles, trapezius muscles. Oh, that's too bulky. And that's too crude. And let's make it a gentle, elegant curve. And find that skull shape. It's just very round with her, very kind of almost perfectly round. So I'll stylize it a bit. And I have to kind of look closely at how this block of hair here on the front of the head is cut and designed. And here you'll again see me trying to implement this kind of randomness, so the hair strands are not all equal in size and behavior. Even this second wave here I want to deliberately make smaller than the first one. There we go. Just a hint of the hairline here. I'll use my kind of standard shortcut for the intricacy of the ear. Very heavy eyelashes to make sure we understand she's looking down. Okay, well, I think this is about good enough. Don't want to make it too much about the face. So that would be kind of the cleanup phase. Just showing the rough and the cleanup. Maybe start with again where we started, the rough figure sketch undressed, then the rough indication of the clothing and its behavior, and now a little bit of a refined cleanup. I do want to maybe think about a little bit of line weight. Not too much though, it's not maybe time to concern myself completely with that, but here I am. Oops, wrong brush. Here I am kind of curious as to the way I would have to indicate the mass of the breast. Well, I think not too much. Less is more. Maybe a little line still here. Let's see. Oh, okay, that's about good enough. So yeah, I am working in a little bit more visible line. And there, I can slow down a bit now where I want to have a little bit of a cleaner look, but definitely I would say all in all it's still worthwhile trying to be dynamic with your lines. I like that way of working, and I also think it makes for a more pleasant looking sketch. And there's some dynamism to be found in the lines. Now it has to be said that it's maybe easy to mistake this kind of dynamic or loose sketching for haphazard or uncontrolled or without any thought, because it's not that. Okay, that helps the sketch. Let's just talk about shading then. Now there's a very clear light source in this picture. I think I already uploaded quite a bit of videos on shading, so probably no need to delve into it too elaborately. Light is coming from the left, and it's basically pretty standard kind of, I'll show you this kind of lighting situation. It's also shining from the front to the back into the paper or scene, basically, right? That's different from this kind of light source. This one is shining out of the paper towards us. That's not the one we're dealing with. This is the one we're dealing with. Now I'll make a separate layer, put it on multiply, and I'll incorporate the fairly, I can show you, fairly harsh brush. That's quite a bit like a marker. A simple wash of tone. Inside of the eye socket here is definitely going to catch shadow, as well as the area underneath the brow. And yes, I have the reference to follow, but of course I can still and must still also think about designing these shadow shapes to make them work. especially when it comes to the clothing, because the reference is a nude figure. With the clothing, we have to think about the nude underneath, but take into account how the creases and folds are gonna show some variation. So here, for example, I'm working as if it were a simple cylinder, but following my lines as a guide. Let's zoom in so you can see better. I'm looking for spots where the shadow is coming in toward the left, and above that I'm probably going to find areas where the shadow is drawing into the, or the light is drawing into the shadow, right? So we get these undulations based on the creases.
Ben je aan het schilderen?
Nee, ik ben aan het digitaal aan het tekenen. Sorry, that was my wife asking if I am painting. I said no, I'm drawing digitally. Well, in a way it is painting, of course. Here as well, the shadow being cast onto the backside by the arm is first and foremost straight, and then I can think about how it's going to undulate due to the creasing in the clothes, and that's going to just add that kind of sense of volume and really show what I want to show. Now I'm overcomplicating matters. I should try to keep it simple. Here I'm also looking for a local crease where maybe I should first look for the overall mass of shadow on the torso, hitting the right side, to then once again see how I can show that these creases cause the light to seep a little bit into the shadow area and vice versa. Sometimes I like to check without the line work and see whether some of these shadow shapes make sense, are readable or understandable, at least for the most part, to me as a viewer. And oftentimes they're not. This is starting to look like something. Shadow being cast, and yes, a lot of the leg here is in shadow anyway. I'm gonna punch in a little shadow on the underside. Now I've set the layer mode to multiply, so it'll darken the lines in the shadow where I draw over the line work. I could opt for normal and kind of get a less visible or readable line in the shadow parts. It's little nuance and doesn't matter all that much to me, but it's just something I'm noticing. Many of these videos are me just thinking out loud while sketching. Hardly ever do I have a very meticulously prepared plan. In my daily job as a teacher, I do think about what I want to tell and the content very carefully. Here, not so much. Okay, much of this leg all in shadow. And well, you know what, I'm gonna insert a little or a dark value for the cloth as well on which he's sitting. It's a very dark local value. You'd probably call it a black sheet. There we go. I suppose this is a little boring to watch, but it's also very boring to do, believe me. So, getting very lazy. You'll notice that this brush I'm using, it's not providing full coverage at once. There is still this little bit of transparency. Sometimes I prefer that to create some nuance in, well, values or transitions. And sometimes it's a bit cumbersome because it yields a very, well, blotchy or messy result. But it's okay for now. There we go. Just thinking about how much I wanna, well, yeah, I still wanna, oops, that's the wrong button. Show a little bit of shadow hitting all the way here downward. Maybe darken this ever so slightly, as well as the fingers. Zooming in a bit. Well, there's some shadow on the cheek, obviously, but let's not worry too much about it. I am gonna go for the normal setting. There we go. I wonder. Oh, that's looking terrible. but maybe a bit more. Yeah. So there's also some shadow being cast on her foot here by some creases. Well, furthermore, I think I should leave it at this. Yeah, I do want to maybe show a little bit of shadow in some of the finer areas here. Well, I'm probably gonna extend this shadow edge a bit toward the left, giving a bit more clarity. By the way, I can always come in with some smudging brush and brush out or smudge out a lot of harsh edges that I might not want. But all in all, I think we should call this a finished sketch for now. I've been probably boring you too long. So I would say let's leave it at this. Maybe one more thing we could do is hint at a little bit of local value. And probably, well, I can do that in a different layer. I'll just use maybe a similar brush again. And this one I will put to multiply probably. And I can play around with the opacity, but I can show that maybe the skin has some local value, like this. And in another layer, multiply, use the same value but very opaque, and show that the jeans have another local value. Well, I'm kind of not sure how much this adds at this point, but it is something that I would do with markers, for example, as well. I can overlay the kind of tonal rendering of the shadows with some rendering of the local value. And by the way, see that I forgot a very important part of the shadow, and that is of course where the arm continues to cast a shadow on the backside. There we go, that's better. I think I also want to incorporate this part. And then again a little bit more opacity for the hair. And you see that, well, I hope you see that that can start yielding a little bit more rendering. And I'm just just thinking about the background as it's so dark in the reference. I would like to incorporate that as well, but okay, let's leave it at this, and well, turn off these layers. I just wanted to go, well, let's turn them on. I just wanted to go as far as this step anyway, and hope you got something out of this. If so, I'd love to hear it. All the positive feedbacks I've been getting, well, all the few positive comments and feedbacks I've been getting are really encouraging and very nice to read. And yes, I could start urging you to like and subscribe and whatever. I'm not gonna though. Don't really want to be that pushy about it. It's your own choice, and I don't think I have subscribed to any channel at all. Maybe one for my daughter, but that's about it. So you guys do you, and don't subscribe, or do subscribe. I don't care, which is maybe a dumb thing to say, because I do appreciate all the subscriptions. I should stop blabbering about. I should shut up and just call it a day. Thank you for watching, and say bye-bye. So that's what I'll do. I'll call it a day. Thank you guys for watching, and bye for now. Cheers.